Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekend Big Show, powered by Law Dog Sports. I am Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you on a beautiful Oklahoma Friday morning. No longer a Western Oklahoma Friday morning, as the Ramsey Broadcasting LLC studios have been moved back to the metro area where we began, and now we are coming to you on the regular Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Joining me, as always, is the ruler of the airways, Jeremy Schroeder. Jeremy, technical issues on both sides a little bit today. I think actually your technical issues might have been mine, but we are kind of figuring out maybe on the air now. I still can't get a right camera angle to catch what now would be classified as a not sad wall here in the Ramsey Broadcasting Studios. We do have got the KSEY picture back there. Wayman and all his glory is off to my left, and then got another, so the studio is decorated. I guess I'll have to do like a TikTok video to give everybody the tour.
Yeah, I've got the Bob Stoops bobblehead in frame today, so
I put some mugs in front of me here on the studio desk, and they don't show. They got the UTEP mug. Yep. And is that showing up backwards to you?
Backwards. No, I see it fine.
Okay, so
it's not a mirror.
My view. And then Chelsea Football Club, and then several others. But I've got some bobbleheads I need to unpack, and unpacking is quite the ordeal, I got to say. I've been living out. It seems like I've been living out of a duffel bag for the last month. But,
better you than me.
It's all good. First world problem,
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Well, it is so much going on in the world of sports, and particularly for one franchise in Oklahoma City. Three franchises on I-35 are in the NBA playoffs: Minnesota and Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs. So we'll talk a bit about last night's game. We'll kind of preview tonight's game between the Spurs and the Wolves, which is tied up at 1 apiece. But your Thunder take a 2-0 lead over the Lakers, who came out game one, didn't shoot very well at all, kind of kept it ugly, kind of kept it somewhat close. And then last night they really did shoot pretty well for chunks of the game, enough to have a lead at halftime. And then with that team, it's just not going to be enough. But just so much else going on. Baseball's getting underway. Your Cubs are
on a heater.
They are on a heater, but man, they've got to keep some people healthy, Jeremy.
Why would you need anybody healthy? Being healthy is for rich people. We're the Cubs, baby. Come on, June. Wow. The June swoon is right around the corner. This will all be just a beautiful memory.
That Cub realism is just so amazing within you.
I feel like I need to go find Newt and give him a hug. This can't last.
Well, we got a viewer online, and that's Dan Narva up in Michigan. Good Friday morning, guys. Coffee up, Jeremy. Jeremy and Chuck are coffeeing up. I didn't sleep good last night. I was up too late, for one thing. These 8:30 Amazon Prime games. Wow. And
in the Central Time Zone, 8:30. Thanks, NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And, and that's what happens when you're part of the Western Conference. I get it. But, man, back in the day, it seems like it used to be, you come to the Central Time Zone, you had to play on their time,
Sure.
Now it's not that at all. But
I know.
But your team is up 2-0 over a Lakers squad that, man, we got so much to unpack.
You're going to tell me all about it. I didn't get to watch a second of it, and I can't even watch highlights because apparently my internet is pretty much down.
How are you on
except for this? I don't know, but I'm just sitting here watching my YouTube TV freeze up.
Oh yeah,
right in the middle of highlights.
We got back on Cox Cable, and when we moved back to the Metro, and just for their internet,
Mm-hmm.
and I've noticed a bit more buffering and a bit more. I set up on the text message deal and gotten a few more, and it's good that they let us know that there's outages, I guess. But uh,
Sure.
man, if this is the beginning of a long term relationship with my internet provider, it's a little scary.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't like Cox. I'm not really enjoying the OEC right now.
I tell you, Pioneer had a good product at time. Most of the time out in Western Oklahoma, there's actually the house we bought. Apparently, we're the hub for the electric transformer and the cable boxes, and I mean, we got 3 large scale things in the corner of our yard that the dog has particularly taken a tune to.
So you can take
Um,
down the whole neighborhood.
yeah, but one box out there says Blue Peak, which I know that they're a fiber provider, and I guess I should have looked at the box before we committed, but it's cable's cable, internet's internet. Dan says coffee up Chuck 2, Pistons avoided disaster versus Magic, but going right in the right direction. That's maybe one of the clearest statements made on this program, Jeremy. They after the we know in basketball sometimes teams just are bad matchups. It's like the Mavericks and Thunder. It was just whatever it was the Mavs brought out to the court was just a bad matchup for the Thunder at times.
Is it
But
PJ Washington just banging down corner threes? Yeah.
Gafford, that guy
Yep.
lively around the bucket, and then plus they had Luca. So, but anyways, but yeah, the Pistons right the ship. We'll talk a little bit about that. Who was the picture you sent me yesterday on the text thread?
The picture I sent you on the text thread. You talking about Brent Venables?
Brent Venables and who?
I think that was Travis Davidson. I don't know. It was just a tweet. I just found it funny because we've shared that Petrino picture in the neck brace so much, and there's BV at the Sooner Caravan in a neck brace. I
Okay.
have no idea who that is.
Was that a brace? I thought it was like an ascot.
No, he had a neck fusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Conrad, I am having a day. Thanks.
No, cool. Let's see. Conrad also checks in, says they only trust the law dog to protect the neighborhood connection. They might. There's 2 other cops on this block. I want to pass that torch. But anyway, so basketball last night, basketball tonight. These playoffs. The long rest spell that the Lakers got after they finished. What, Saturday or Sunday they finished off the Rockets, and then I think it was Saturday night.
It was Thursday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Which was why I was so confused why they got the extra rest days.
Yeah. That's where I was
Like
going.
they didn't do that last year for the Nuggies.
No, not
They
at
just
all.
sent them right into it.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, heck, if they start that series Saturday, OKC probably beat them by 50, but they got NBA's looking out for the chosen one and give
Well,
them those extra rest days.
so I watched it last night, and normally I'm a second half guy because there are things that I'm committed to and do around the house and different things, and plus sometimes I'm just like I don't know if I could sit through an entire. And I know having a sports podcast, that's kind of blasphemy, but is there anything in the first half generally you can't get caught up on, and then just see how the second half plays out, unless it's the Knicks and well,
But usually I'll come home after a game because I don't ever get to watch the games. I'm always at work and watch the what they'll do key plays on YouTube
oh yeah,
TV. You can just
yeah.
sit there, roll through all the key plays. I didn't even
Mhm.
get to that last night.
Wow. Well, there were some key plays, and really starting out, the Lakers, kind of were, if you compare it to a boxing match, and granted, we're talking about a game that ended up 125-107. But if you kind of compare it to a boxing match, they withstood punches. I don't know. I don't want to go as far to say rope-a-dope, but they withstood some punches, got down a bit, and then fired back. And, outscored the Thunder 35-30 in the second quarter, had a 2-point lead at the half, and we're just shooting the lights out. I mean, Hachimura, he ended up 6 of 10 from the from the field goal area. He hit a bunch of threes, but you even the announcers, Jeff Van Gundy knew you've got to come out and you've got to keep that going in the third quarter against Oklahoma City. And generally most teams cannot, especially a team without their primary offensive threat, and they're they're three basically dealing with injury throughout chunks of the playoffs. Go ahead.
From what I gathered, once SGA left the game in the third quarter, the Lakers had to play defense, and they couldn't just run 3 or 4 guys at Shea.
Yeah.
And the Lakers don't play good team defense. I don't know. I don't.
Looked like Marcus Smart was, here's the headline of the story. Lakers bitch completely constantly about officiating. It goes both ways. That was a game that was as much both ways. And okay, so LeBron didn't get the and one on a few drives to the bucket.
Well, when you put your shoulder in someone's chest
Yeah.
before you gather, it's not in
Yeah.
the natural motion of the shot.
Yeah.
But it's LeBron, and then the whole team ganged up on the refereeing crew was just terrible last night, both
Yeah.
ways.
It was
That
bad.
flagrant on Shea when Austin Reeves has his arms around him, he made contact with his ribs. I thought it was forceful contact to the head or neck area, or is that targeting? I don't know.
Well, that's what was, the flagrant was the other night with Caruso's,
Getting
LeBron
chopped in the face.
Chet flopped in the first half, but I honestly, when I watched that, and they, here's the thing, there's a narrative out there, and before we get into the real performances of the game, we're going to be dealing with this, nonsense window dressing. Chet got, he drew an offensive foul against Ayton. I thought I saw where Ayton's shoulder caught him in the face, but they never really showed that replay to any other angle than all they showed was the arm of DeAndre Ayton not hitting Chet in the face. His initial reaction was when Ayton's shoulder. Now, maybe that's not a foul on DeAndre Ayton. I don't know. But either way, it just propagated a whole ton of, Twitter tweets and videos and shorts and stuff, of that. And, Chet had a whale of a game. Chet's had a whale of a series this time.
He's become a playoff performer, hadn't he?
He, think about it. Wouldn't you say last season was really his first season?
Let's
see. He had the injury at the beginning of last season.
So he missed his entire rookie year.
Yeah.
So the second round series when they lost to the Mavericks was basically his first season.
Okay. Did he get in?
Yeah, he was relatively healthy that whole year. Okay. And then last year he missed the 50 games, but he was decent in the playoffs. I mean, last night, 22 and 9 on 7-11 from the floor, 60% from three. You can't.
No.
His archetype, you really can't ask for more.
And be a bit of a rim protector, Sure. I mean, and here's another thing, and I used to like this when they had Kevin Durant and the finals run they made in 2012. They could go small when they needed to, and with Durant being 6'11", he could get some rebounds. He wasn't going to be Andre Drummond down there, but I mean, no. He was enough of a height and enough of a big man type, and I like that about Chet too. Is if they need to go small, he's basically 7 foot and got guard skills, but can still, hopefully work the boards.
And coming up big last night, Isaiah Hartenstein.
Yeah, he had a big
10-9.
To me, his first half was what really because you come out and like I said, they withstood the first punches, and the Thunder, I think, got up 11 at one time in the first half.
Hmm.
And then, the three ball just kept the Lakers in it.
Yeah,
And that's the
Oklahoma
only
Sooners legend Austin Reeves had a big game.
he did. And, the thing about it is people want to bag on, you know, people want to bag on SGA for flopping and every drive he makes, I mean, if you want to criticize, I mean, he puts his body in a position where he's likely to land on the floor after a drive to the bucket. Reeves just tries to flail off of people when he's
Hmm.
trying to, and then get in the shooting motion, try to get an and one or get three free throws. And he
It's
did
almost
several.
as
He
if
did a couple
selling
of times.
contact. It's
And
almost
yeah,
as if selling contact has become part of the game, but we're only selective in how we want that
it's
enforced.
just the Twitter world is just on SGA. And then,
Yeah.
hey, here's the thing. Also, Ian Eagle last night on the call for Amazon, and I'm not real keen on having to switch over and put on my Amazon Prime app. But I'll say this: not having to listen to Doris Burke,
Oh, must have
that,
been,
that, that makes the Prime subscription worth it in itself.
man, must have been great.
Yeah,
If it could only been Kevin Harlan, who's amazing.
yeah,
Cameron
and
Hall checking in. Big get from the Wizards, Sam Presti on getting McCain. He's played outstanding. Yeah, McCain was what 22 off the bench last night.
he was huge,
How
man.
the
And
Sixers couldn't use him for a few minutes here and there to spell
they, they
Tyrese
would
Maxey.
they would
I,
be up. They would be tied one apiece, and I heard that yesterday on some talk shows that wow, you can't buy a bucket, but you had a pretty good shooter get traded to OKC.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the Jeremy Grant deal when they got him for nothing because I want to say Philadelphia just released him. It it's Presti can't keep getting away with taking advantage of these dumb franchises.
well, I mean, and that's the thing. If you start out as a general manager in the NBA and you're not clued up that hey, never go into a trade with Sam Presti, you
Yeah, I mean, you think you're getting a good deal, but he
you've
saw
been done
something you
dirty.
didn't. Oh my goodness. I mean,
His foresight.
Caruso Caruso was good last night. I mean, stat sheet doesn't show it, but
Well, originally you threw out Hartenstein, and like I said,
Hartenstein,
he finishes with 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist. But he was, his little shot put shot was really working pretty well in the first half. He got a big block on LeBron on a I can't remember if it was an alley oop or just kind of driving to the bucket, but he packed his mess. And then also just, he provides that stability down low. Now, I'll say this, if the Lakers were a team that could defend them, I would worry about the fact that right now I'm not exactly I know it's kind of all the Lakers have, but man, the transition defense for the Thunder might need to get a little better going forward because the Spurs will want to run it. And
who
I
was I
I know
listening
I
to?
know it's a bit. I know it's just lobbing the ball down, and that's another thing. When does 3 seconds? Does the ball have to cross half court before they start counting 3 seconds in the lane? Because I'm pretty certain LeBron camps there while his team's playing defense, and then they lob one down to him, on a on a go route.
Well, he's old. The old man doesn't pick him up and put him down like he used to.
Well, no, but I'm just saying he camps out in the lane. So
Uh-huh.
by rule, does the 3 second violation begin when the ball cross? Can you be guilty
I,
of 3 seconds in the lane if the ball's in the other court?
I mean, legally, he shouldn't even be allowed in there because he's 6'9" and he never developed a post game. But that's another story. Yeah, get your big butt out of the paint. God dang it.
That backing people down, 10 feet. That's kind of a post game.
I guess if that's what you want to call it. When
Well,
he has to. He didn't have much of a post game in game one, and they were just taking advantage of that.
yeah. Uh, AJ Mitchell, 20 points last night. He's been huge in this series so far.
Another second round steal.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a team that's got what, two? lotteries, 2 lottery picks that are playing big minutes.
Uh-huh.
Looks
Cleo
like you got some
Ramsey,
family in there.
my cousin. I was just wondering if I subscribe to your show, if you would take a third-party post-dated out-of-state check. We'll take anything. Good job,
Anything at this point.
Cleo, my
Looks like
cousin up in Creek County. He's former mayor of Drumright, Oklahoma. He's a mover and a shaker up there.
we would even take a forged cashier check, I think.
I was going to say,
Well,
this
Chuck
point in
used to
time,
work in financial crimes. He'd probably spot it right away.
at this point in time, his check post dated and out of state might be as good as your check from the federal government.
Hey, that's over.
Okay, great.
That's over.
Also in the first half,
Now,
I noticed they brought in Isaiah Joe, and man, you talk about the Thunder keen on closing him out, but he only ended up with 4 points. But Jeremy, he twice in the first half, they closed out on him in the corner three, and he pump faked and drilled a baseline jumper, mid-range baseline jumper. There it was.
creating space. He's a dangerous shooter.
I liked it. And, they were down 2 at the break, but you could just tell that team knew. I mean, they're like predators out there. They know. I mean, you've got a great squad that you root for right now, and it's pretty interesting to watch. Now, like I said, sometimes they're a bit fickle from outside if they, but Jared McCain came in and just blasted it. So that's a huge addition in my book for them, because at times, Jeremy, last year I thought in the playoff run, the Pacers series doesn't go 7 if they get some shooting from outside.
No, they shot the ball. I think they were 27% from 3 in the playoffs last year. They were just awful.
Yeah. Well, Jared McCain seems to have the range from outside, and then like we said, pedestrian game from SGA, but he still got 22 and really wasn't keyed on through a lot of the game. And I think what really bugs people on this whole platform of following the NBA is that, first off, people can't come to grips with the fact that their heroes from 2010 are done, for the most part. You're not, it's a new batch. And when I hear talk about, that Steph Curry is still a big draw for the Warriors in a sense, like, that's great, but they're terrible brand of basketball. And, this is the future. San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Detroit, this is the future. Probably Orlando.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Minnesota, even though they're old in places, but still you've got a young star to build around. But I just look at it and I think to myself, it's amazing. And I always figure that the Twitter community is much younger than me. I know that they would have to be, but
You gotta stop. Just the people on Twitter are casuals, and someone just throws a narrative out there and to generate clicks and retweets, and then this crap starts.
what I was going to say is it's just amazing how crotchety they are. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
crotchety, and you've given me the meme about old man yells at cloud in the past, but it's like, no, we can't lose Steph and Draymond and LeBron. Well, they're
Well, Draymond, he can retire now. I mean, he makes comments of how he was better than prime Charles or Rockets Charles
yeah,
Barkley.
not even
He
in close.
couldn't carry Rockets Charles Barkley's jockstrap.
He would have been nothing but a hatchet man in the 90s.
He would have been he
What do
would
you?
have been a less skilled Dennis Rodman. Think about that.
Yeah, a slower, more useless on the fast break Dennis Rodman. Yeah.
Just running around bumping into people.
Yeah. But you mentioned Austin Reeves, former Oklahoma Sooner, 31 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, held court with the officials after the game, complaining. And JJ Redick was complaining in the post game. LeBron, it's funny, LeBron seems to send his minions out to do the complaining. Maybe he knows that takes a little bit of the luster off his legacy if he's constantly bitching about calls. But I don't know. It was quite the conference at midcourt between most of the Lakers and the officials, and like you said, they were pretty terrible on both sides. So
I mean, 49 or is it 49? Hang on, let me do the quick math. 47 combined free throws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Lakers only shot 5 less free throws than the Thunder did. But but like I said, it's those drives to the bucket where somebody breathes on LeBron and he's pissed because he didn't get the call.
Mm-hmm.
So 21 turnovers is probably as much what you could locate as what did in the Lakers last night. But it'll
Yeah.
be interesting. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, the fact that, that third quarter, they come in with the lead. They get SGA a foul trouble. He leaves the court for most of that quarter, and the kids come in and just run him into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It
36-22 in the third quarter. That's where the
the
game turns.
the Thunder, the what do they call it? The Thunder Avalanche without their best player on the court
Yeah.
because Sam Presti has assembled just an immense wealth of talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must be nice to feel it's like, oh, I got Paul George. I'm going to flip him for all the picks, and then I'm going to hit on every single one of them.
And they could be bringing in another one this season.
I know.
I
And
mean,
it's like, oh, they got all these lottery picks. No, they don't. Dort's undrafted. Hartenstein, they got free agency.
Jay
He wasn't
Mitchell
a
second
top 10
round.
pick. I'm looking at their roster right now, lottery picks, SGA and Holmgren.
Yeah.
And
What?
that's
Wait.
it.
What was Jalen? What was J Dub? Was he
J-Dub
not?
was like 26th, I want to say.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah,
think he
yeah.
was outside the lottery.
He was same draft as Chet, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jay Will. Yeah,
Yes.
because they drafted two Jalen Williams in that
Uh huh.
draft.
Uh huh. All right. Dan Narvis says lots of boomers out there on Twitter. That is for sure. And then Rand Lindsay checking in. Morning, man.
Man,
Rand. I'm glad he's got that double A in his first name, so that they don't call him Iran.
flock of seagulls.
Yeah. That's right. Cameron Hall mentioning Jalen Williams was lottery. I thought so too.
Well, maybe he was.
12. Well,
Oh
is
no,
12 or
Shea
13
was outside the lottery.
Shea was?
Was he?
Well, he was drafted by the Clippers and nobody cared.
Yeah.
But,
Let's see. He was 11th overall. Okay. Well, let's
Cameron
see.
Hall says he thinks 12 or 13. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Let me effort that.
the gist of the point is the fact that Presti.
Okay, 12th.
12th.
As was Shea.
Wow.
But he's not playing, so
The
doesn't
gist
count.
of the conversation is with Presti. I mean, it's like the Matrix. He's seeing moves before they ever come to his way, and it's pretty amazing to see. But also playing the game pretty well is and it helps when you draft a 7'8" kid from France that can hit threes. Are the San Antonio Spurs, and they are tied up one apiece with the Minnesota Timberwolves after dropping game one. I watched that game, Jeremy, and the first thought I thought was growing pains. We see these teams, and there were some games, I guess, that the Spurs, I guess they gave up. Was it I think it was a gentleman's sweep against Portland, but there were some games where they had to kind of play back in it and things. But they're a young team and not a ton of playoff experience. I think if it ends up being the Spurs and the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, I would probably defer to the playoff experience that the Thunder have because, I mean, the Spurs bounce back huge the other night.
Growing pains. How are you? What'd you say he was 7'8"?
I mean, don't they say 7'4", but he towers over.
Yeah, game one, he goes 5 of 17 and goes 0 for 8 from 3. Is there, I guess Gobert's down low. Is he, and he's still a good defender, but
what I noticed in game one, what I noticed in game one is that and that was the game that Wemby had 12 blocks, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna roll the tape on that. I did see that.
133-95 was game 2. Let's see here. So it started Monday night, 104-102.
Yeah, I'm
But
looking at the box
what I was
score.
going to say is 12 blocks on Monday in game 1. But they
Which was
lost.
an NBA record only for television until you open up the NBA record book and see that it was not an NBA record.
Once again. But no, that was a game where the Wolves out rebounded them. They had more. Well, they didn't have as many points in the paint, but they had more second chance points. But let me tell you something. Minnesota can go big when they take Gobert out and then just plug Naz Reid in there. He's a big guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he may not be 7 foot, but he takes up a lot of real estate. And then Julius Randle as well. Did you see my tweet when they were getting blown out the other night?
No.
Yeah, you'd be great if you'd follow me.
Well, I was probably at work. I can't just sit there and stare at
Yeah,
the
you
phone, Chuck.
can. You work for the government. No, what I found a gif of Toby Flenderson. I said, it's a blowout.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
When this guy's in the game. So, what was that guy's name?
Joe Ingles.
Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles got in some minutes against the Spurs on Wednesday night, and wow, he looks like he is out of game shape. I'll just say that. He's got the body by Chuck going on.
He probably doesn't practice, and he sits for 2 or 3 hours every game
Gearing up
night.
for that coaching role, I guess. But anyway, so game 1 goes to the Wolves, and it was like you said, it was a poor shooting night for the Spurs, just 28% from 3. They also, missed some free throws down the road, 78% from the line, and then 45% from the field. And it was just one of those situations where, like I said, they come out of the series, and I think so many times, Jeremy, young teams just they can just look at it and think that a team that they're favored against is just gonna crumble. And then when they don't, they're kind of like, well, what do we do now? And then they came out in game 2 and kind of figured it out.
I'll give you the shooting, because the 28% from 3, Minnesota was 38% from 3. There's your difference in the game.
Yeah.
Because Minnesota shot 57% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
Yeah,
I get it.
A lot
Gobert
of
probably took the bulk of those. 105.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Just brutal.
In game 2, Wembanyama, he had 19 points and 15 rebounds. So the double-double, gets going. And then they really just and you've seen this with the Thunder. When they go out there, when these young teams go out and they are just, like a house on fire on defense and the pressure, it just creates so much. And that's what happened with the T-Wolves on Wednesday night. They just, I think it was 22 turnovers.
Yeah, I watched some of that. I watched some of that game, and I had to turn it off because it was so so bad.
It got
Minnesota was just out of sorts. They weren't getting back on defense. Everything was transition. They were running transition off makes.
Yeah. 29-5 off of on fast break points advantage to San Antonio. Jeremy, the points off turnovers was just a 2-point differential, 19-17. So like you said, they're getting the ball on a make or a miss, and they're going.
That's crazy. That's some 2009 through 2014 Thunder stuff where they're just give the ball to Russ and go.
Yeah.
Bronny James, future GOAT, Lakers. Okay.
I get the feeling we're being trolled.
I believe we are being trolled.
But hey, thank you for chiming in. We appreciate all commentary brought in here on the show. It is the Weekend Big Show with Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, myself, and Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the
Think we
airway.
found Connor's burner.
His burner account. Yeah. But anyways, just it'll be interesting as tonight the T-Wolves and the Spurs play game 3. They're at the Target Center. San Antonio, a 4.5-point favorite. The over-under is 216 and a hook. I don't know that I'm ready to say that Minnesota comes out. I mean, they won game 1, and really it wasn't a great game by Anthony Edwards. But then it was
Right.
so bad on Wednesday in game 2. It's hard for me to get a feel on this. I know this. If the Spurs come out and play with the energy that they did in game 2, it's going to be tough for Minnesota to get a win in game 3.
I think game 3 is the series for Minnesota. If they lose, and then San Antonio's got all the momentum. Game 4 doesn't really matter, but they have all the momentum, so they probably win that too, go home and clean it up in 5. So Minnesota, if you've ever had a bone bruise in your knee, that is disgusting, nasty. The more you're on it, the more fluid builds up, then you have to have it drained. It I don't know how he's out there playing at a decently high level. So, props to him for being, tough, but I don't know how much
Well,
that's gonna.
and that brings up an interesting topic because driving around in the metro area yesterday, I was privy to listen to some local sports talk on the radio. For younger viewers, there's terrestrial radio in your car. It's not all Spotify and stuff like that. But anyways, it was mentioned by 2 hosts on the probably the largest sports talk network in the metro area of Oklahoma City that one Luka Doncic and one Austin Reeves were out at Oak Tree National getting in around the other day. And the question brought up was interesting in the fact that hamstrings and obliques may not necessarily be conducive to swinging a golf club, but and they said it was confirmed, and I
Huh.
one of those speakers has been on this program before, so I trust him. But these NBA injuries, and like you said, if Ant's playing through that much, I give him his props. But the NBA, I mean, so many of these injuries, and when you have things going on, it gives that the complaints about the refs and the all of the scuttlebutt. You know,
Scuttlebutt.
you start to wonder, how much closer to the WWE is this league going to become?
Oh, I've called it the NBE for years, just watching some of the officiating. I mean, the NBA is the only major sports league that's had an official do prison time for fixing
Mhm.
games.
Yeah. Well, and
And
potentially may have a player pretty soon.
they have a couple. But Terry Rozier, is that who we're talking about
Yeah,
here?
yeah, he's the
Okay.
one with the Blazers, right?
Yeah, I remember seeing a highlight package of this is when it happened. One of
Yes.
those. It's like, yeah, okay, I
Line
can see
passes
that.
into the backcourt. And
If I was watching that in real time, not knowing anything, I'd probably be like, what is he doing? Hmm.
yeah. Well, it just I look at things and I tried. I think in my years of experience watching, that we can go all the way back to the '02 Western Conference Finals with the Lakers and the Kings, and
Hmm.
see that if you
Kings
even
was robbed.
as you look at it, and it's always been. Here's the thing: people act like the NBA has not always been a league geared for the stars. It has totally been geared for the stars.
Oh,
Magic Johnson, Larry
definitely.
Bird, Kareem, they got calls that no other player got,
True.
and through the Jordan years, I mean, it's always been a a star driven league as far as the officiating goes, and you just weren't going to get calls if you're a rookie, and that's been since the dawn of time. But in typical millennial and Gen Y fashion, they want what they want right now.
Hey, a lot of those same people still think a certain Los Angeles Laker, former Cavalier, former Heat is the GOAT. And
Yeah,
anybody that has a brain knows that ain't it.
no. And then also, I saw a deal on Sports Grid today that there was I can't remember if it was maybe it was one of the Dallas Stars played through the played through the latter half of the season after the All-Star game and through their playoff run, which has ended with a torn MCL, and now is going to get it repaired since they're in the off season. That's wanting to be on the ice. That's tough.
Hockey players are different.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it Ovechkin that's just hanging out on the bench? It was recently. Just gets whacked in the face with a puck. Kind of, checks he's
Oh,
not
yeah.
bleeding, checks
Yeah.
his teeth didn't get knocked out, never
That's
left the
why
bench area, hit his
that's why
next
I
shift.
think if you're one of these basketball players and you catch an elbow, kind of scrapes the jaw. I know you're trying to sell it, but if you just kind of take it, get back up in their face, I mean, what kind of message would that send?
Throw one back. Let's go.
Well,
Drop the
yeah.
gloves.
We've seen, I'll give Art Test and I'll give who was the other crazy
Oh
person?
my gosh. Rasheed
Um,
Wallace, Ben Wallace,
Ben Wallace,
Jermaine
nobody
O'Neal, Charles
Ben,
Oakley. I mean, I could keep naming names.
uh,
Dave
Vernon
Beard,
Maxwell. That's where I was
Vernon
going.
Mac. Well, yeah, but he also had a penchant for going up into the stands.
Well, so did Art Test. But yeah,
Well, if I had my choice between trying to throw hands with one of those Wallace boys and going up and attacking a fan, I'm probably going to take the fan
yeah,
if I
exactly,
have to choose.
exactly. Uh, but no, I mean it. That's why when these scuffles break out in the NBA, I rarely raise an eyebrow because I know it's going to be a lot of yik yak and not much. Nobody's thrown a punch, have they, since the Malice at the Palace?
Yeah, it's been
I
a
mean, other
while.
than Artest's elbow to the side of Harden's head.
Yeah, I guess we could consider that a punch since it did concuss him and knock him unconscious for a little bit.
Let me ask you an exit question here on the Thunder, and then we'll kind of break into the
We
Pistons.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah. For Dan's sake. Um, Exit question. When we saw the big three with Oklahoma City when they first started as a franchise, when Westbrook got hurt against Memphis, or no, who was it?
Just Houston.
Was Beverly with Houston at the time,
Hmm.
but it ruined him for the Memphis series, right?
Sure. Yes.
So you lose one player and you're pretty well doomed to not get out of the next round.
Yes.
This team's been without J-Dub for the
For
whole
most, yeah, I know.
for the whole playoffs. And then
I
last night, it's SGA finished with 22, but still he had foul trouble. He was out quite a bit. Tell me what you think about, how this game and how this franchise, can keep moving forward without so many pieces throughout this run.
The key is, and you could probably, yeah, I know Sam Presti, how you feel about him, and it seems like he's that guy that always thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And in a room of NBA general managers, he probably is.
Sure.
But he's evolved his strategy. When they had the first iteration of OKC when they moved here in 2008, they had their guy, Kevin Durant. They had their 1A, Russell Westbrook. They grabbed Harden. They had Ibaka. Everything else was just filling in around that. Find guys that were super athletic, and we're going to teach them how to shoot. That strategy did not work, didn't pan out. So he evolved from the when it got time to where he had to just sell everything and start over. He got all these assets, and what he did with those assets was he drafted guys that could play basketball. And apparently he's really good at identifying guys that can just play basketball because he's got guys that play basketball. Okay, so Wallace, Lou Dort, undrafted, AJ Mitchell, picking up Isaiah Joe off the scrap heap after Philadelphia released him. A guy like Jared McCain, who was a really good shooter coming out of college, struggled to find minutes in Philadelphia, picks him up. I didn't think he was going to make the playoff rotation. Goes for 22 last night. Everything he's touching right now is turning to gold. They're deep. They play on a string on defense. Everyone, not so much in this series because it kind of looks like maybe there's some like, hey, we don't have to. I don't know. So I was listening to Mad Dog last night, and it got in my head, and it was just bothering me. It's like these guys are professionals; they're not just out there loafing around. I don't know, but obviously they cannot be at their best to beat this Lakers team. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And they haven't been at their best the first two games.
No.
But defensively, when they're on, they play on a string. Everyone, all the rotations are crisp and sound. Everyone is in position. It's just one of the best constructed basketball teams we've seen in the modern cap era. Could you agree with that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
the
that is why you
results
lose
are there.
SGA. That is why you can lose an SGA for several minutes. That bench ain't missing a beat because those
Mhm.
guys are players.
Yeah.
And Dagnall, he knows how to pull the levers. He knows how to push the buttons. He was a great hire bringing him up from the G League to replace Billy Donovan, who is now out at Chicago, and I don't know what he's going to do because he didn't want to go through a rebuild. So where'd he go? One of the worst franchises in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls.
And I think they're looking at him as what, like, isn't he a
I
candidate for Orlando?
he should go back. He should go back to college. He really should.
He's
I
been
think
out
that
for a
was
while.
yeah, but I mean he's been in the NBA for a while, and that's basically all the college game has evolved into.
Well, let me ask you this on top of the exit question. Um, Jalen Williams, J Dub, seems to, I mean, he played hurt last year through the playoffs and contributed mightily through, for a championship. But this season, I mean, how much longer do you go with his frequent injury before you start looking at some options on him?
I don't know. I don't
Him
know. I
not
think you
being
get through
available.
this. I mean, that could be a deadline move next year if he's unable to stay healthy. Someone might take a flyer on him, but you got to think he's young enough and that he
Did
can
they pay
bounce
him
back
too
from.
soon?
I mean, they could have. I
Yeah.
mean, time will tell. He was an All NBA guy last year, All
Mhm.
Star.
Oh, no,
They,
no, I'm not discounting his talent and what he brings to a team at all. I promise.
I mean, if you find a guy that fits in with what you want to do and he's performed admirably, you kind of have to reward that in this day and time, or
Mhm.
you risk starting to blow up what you've already built.
Sure. All right. Well, so on the Eastern Conference, which really nobody cares about, the Knicks seem to be in control of the Sixers with or without Joel Embiid. And then the Pistons take a 2-0 lead over the Cavs, and Donovan Mitchell goes for 31 last night, but the Cavs just
But
shoot 22% from three. And
they got a big 10 points from James Harden. And listen, man,
yeah,
outside of the Lakers series in what, in 12,
yeah.
2012,
Hmm.
has there been a worse star in the playoffs than James Harden?
What Lakers series in 20 was that the first
The one
round?
where they kept running high pick and roll and he'd either knock down a three or take it to the rack. It was they came back from
That was
like 17
2011.
points. Okay, 2011.
That was
So
the
we're
one
talking,
where if they block out Gasol, they probably push
yes.
the game. Yeah, I think that was the year before because 2012 was the finals.
And it was the finals year. It
Oh,
was the
really?
finals year. Yes, it was.
I thought
Because they didn't
okay.
they have the Lakers in a home series, or they had the Lakers in
It had to have been a
the
first round.
semis.
or maybe second round because
I think it might have been the semis.
they
But
beat
yeah, because they lost they were the 8 seed in 11 and lost to LA.
yeah.
Boy,
Harden's just, I mean, and I heard some of the talking heads talking about him yesterday. He's such an amazing offensive talent throughout his career. He just offers nothing else to a squad.
and when he's not scoring, what good is he?
Yeah, yeah. If you're
I
only
mean,
going to
what
get 10
can
points from him,
he's a liability on one end of the court, and he doesn't give you anything on the other. Why is he on the floor?
if you think about it, last season, you know, going into the playoffs, people were looking at the Cavaliers much in the same vein as they're looking at the Thunder. I mean, they were two
They
teams
were, yes.
projected to end up in the finals, and man, two different paths. And I would be surprised if the Pistons don't finish them off, you know,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
quick.
that I think that's going to be a sweep. I can't see Cleveland, pulling the game out there. Kate Cunningham, it was outstanding last night. What he
25
had
points, 3 rebounds, and 10 assists.
25, 10, and 3. Growing up right before our eyes, just another stud. This next generation of superstars it's going to be fun to watch as we head into our old age and still
Yeah.
know that there is only one GOAT.
Very true. Very true. But no, Cade Cunningham, quite the pickup there for the Pistons, and the former. Hard to believe he played a season in Stillwater.
It really is
I
in
mean,
the NIL
I'm
area
not trying to knock
era.
the OSU basketball program, but just that amount, um, kudos to Mike Boynton for getting him on campus. Tonight, Spurs are a 4.5-point favorite over the Wolves, and in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks and Sixers. Knicks look to go up 3-0 on the road at Philly. Joel Embiid, another one of those guys that remind me a lot of kind of the James Harden type. Just, yeah, you're a great offensive player, but there's not always that much else used for you on the court.
He's brittle.
Yeah.
Is he even playing tonight?
Let's take a look at the injury report and see what they
I'm
say.
looking at it right now. Joel Embiid,
Game time
game time
decision,
decision.
ankle,
So you
which
got Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and I'm not going to butcher his first name. Ananobi,
and OG.
OG Ananobi.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now
It's that one.
that's two right there that I know the Knicks, even though they're up 2-0, I know they'd love to have those two back. But did you hear about James Dolan kind of popping off about SGA this week?
Is he still around?
Yeah, he was on a podcast, which, if we weren't on a
What was he
podcast
popping
right
off
now, I would
about?
criticize that. He mentioned that let me find my phone and get the exact quotes, but he referred to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as SG&A. And then it was really, he's just such a peckerhead. But then on top of that, it was he was talking about the Knicks window, I guess. Let me find that. I should have wrote it down when I saw it. I apologize, but JD and the Straight Shots, I'm sure they're on tour somewhere, so he takes time to out of his day preparing for shows to
Shouldn't he get back to Vegas and oversee the what is that thing? The Sphere?
Sphere.
Just go with hang out there. Maybe crawl inside of it and just stay there.
Well, he wants to be an Eagle so bad, and that's just let's see here. Daggone it. Anyways, so he was sounding off earlier this week, and I mean, I said this to my friend Josh Swicky. I called into his show earlier in the week. If the Knicks can't do it this season, they're never going to do it. If they can't get to a finals this season, they're never going to do it.
No, I mean, they have a well constructed team, and you can't tell me that Jimmy Dolan wouldn't trade his entire roster for SGNA right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But when you're on top, that's when the haters come out.
sure. Well, let's see. Well, I can't find it anywhere, so my apologies. But
It's okay.
he's just a douchebag, and I can't believe I ever said S. Oh, here it is. SGNA is a great basketball player, and when we get to the finals, I'm sure we're going to beat him.
No, well, I mean that's not as bad as you made it sound.
Oh, he went on. It went on. I reposted it on Twitter. I'll check it out later. Anyways, I had to sit through that douchebag open for Don Henley up at the River Spirit Casino in Tulsa one night, and honestly, I wasn't under the influence, but I just was kind of out of sorts. And here comes this band, JD and the Straight Shots, and it wasn't until later on in the evening that I put it together or was clued in that was James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks. And I was like, wow, he really sucks. And then also there's a video you should check out on YouTube where Michael Rappaport, who's I guess a heavy duty Knicks fan.
He'll
He
always
hates,
be Remy to me.
yeah. Um, was that the
Higher learning.
Higher Learning? Yeah, Omar Epps and
Yeah,
Busta Rhymes and
what Mike
how was
Tomlin
that?
was doing before he was coaching the Steelers.
Who was in the was Tyra
Ice
Banks
Cube.
the female lead in that?
Man, now you're making me
Halle
reach.
Berry was in the program, wasn't she?
Yes, thanks.
Higher
I'm
Learning.
I'm I'm looking this up. Dang it.
Yeah,
Let's see.
Wasn't Remy he was roommates with Ice Cube, wasn't he?
Ice Cube, Christy Swanson, Tyra Banks, Lawrence Fishburne, Jennifer Connelly, Cole Hauser,
Wow. He's in everything.
and that was fresh off his
Dazed and
his
Confused.
debut in Dazed and Confused. Man, Busta Rhymes, Adam Goldberg, another Dazed and Confused alum.
So were most of those white guys on that cast list the skinheads? What's that?
I would imagine so. Andrew Bernarski,
Bernard, which one's
also in the program.
he's the big huge dude,
Latimer,
right?
Latimer.
Well, anyways, so I had to sit through James Dolan, for a whole show, and he's just up there, and he hired a great band. I mean, you could say
Sure.
that, but he
Well,
just sucked.
he's a billionaire, so he can
Anyway,
do that.
look up Michael Rappaport and him on a radio talk show talking about JD and the Straight Shots. It's must see TV. Anyway, so all right, so NBA playoffs ongoing. They'll be done sometime around July 4th, and we'll follow them through.
Late June.
Late June. It's
Last year it was June 22nd.
It's closer to July 4th than it is to Memorial Day. I promise.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So anyways, I said we would mention your Cubs, and they start a series in Arlington today. Let's see, make sure I've got the right. Yeah, they start a weekend series in Arlington against the Rangers today, and looks like on the mound, Rangers and that Kumar Rocker getting the start for the Rangers, and Ben Brown for the Cubbies. The IL for the Cubs looking
Tyler
pretty
Boyd
ragged
hurt
there.
himself
Jeremy.
getting up off the floor.
Do what now?
Tyler Boyd tore his meniscus getting up off the floor playing with his kids.
I retweeted you and Newt Hunt.
Oh my gosh. What why? How? Different.
Dan Narva, different topic. If any Pokes fans here, Sparty and the Pokes football, home and home, 28-29. Hopefully better by then, counting on Fitz. I like the news. MSU's last regular season versus Big 8-12 was at the time Missouri 25 years ago in Nebraska in the 90s. AD Bob Devaney had been a Spartan staffer. So, okay.
And that is cool. They canceled a home and home with Alabama to get that. But remember, they can't cancel any future games to get a Bedlam game in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unheard of.
So they don't obviously they don't want to play Bedlam.
No.
That's fine.
But as I mentioned, it's been a while back, but Cade Horton went on the IL. He was a 60-day, and then just man, it is a
It's a mad
laundry list of injuries there for
and
the
here
pet.
they had a 10-game win streak. Now they're on a 9-game win streak, and they're three and a
Hanging in
half
there.
games up in the Central.
Yep. And then I stayed up late last night and watched the last half inning of the Cardinals and the Padres. That was thrilling.
Yeah, I know. Late night baseball.
Yeah.
What better activity to go to sleep to?
It's stunning to me when I think about it that NBC's doting so much into sports that you're having NBC affiliate in a middle market town running basketball until 11:30 in the morning. I mean, you know how much weather they're missing out on by showing games on prime time on NBC?
Well, you're out of the hot zone now, so you can relax a little bit. But
Whew,
yeah,
I
there's a lot of
hope
weather.
it's
Mike
staying
Morgan
true.
must just be seething.
Oh, I
It
promise
is
you,
Morgan's on four, right?
he's probably sitting there drawing devil horns on a picture of David Payne, and he shouldn't be on the air when I'm not. Basketball. Oh gosh. Well, anyways, what else you got going on?
Well, let's see. Got to work on the aunt's car tomorrow. That's going to go swimmingly, I'm sure. It's
Yeah,
just a trim piece, so it's in my wheelhouse. We'll be okay. Um, other than that, we got Mother's Day weekend, and we're just
it
gearing
is
up for
Wednesday.
graduation.
Well, and that brings to mind, and I'm glad you mentioned it. We should mention some of the great athletic mothers throughout sport. I know it would be hard in this region not to mention that there used to be bumper stickers that said "Thank God for Mrs. Selman."
Yeah,
Big time there. Um,
the
just
Bowens mom,
who?
the Bowens,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Eli and Peyton Bowen. Yeah,
Eli and Peyton Bowen,
yeah.
Tierra Nixon. Appreciate her for CJ Nixon, and then also Debbie Tate or Debbie Sage, mother of Tate and Ethan Sage. So a lot of great athletic mothers I've been privy to. But my own mother passed away in 2011, and she gave birth to me, so that was pretty amazing on her part.
God bless her.
Yeah, she raised me right. No, but it's going to be Mother's Day weekend, so it's supposed to be, I don't know, tomorrow I guess some storms, but I think Sunday maybe supposed to be really really nice. So always great to have some great weather on Mother's Day. But you have been without your father now for about 5 or 6 years, so you've still got your lovely mother around, and I'm sure you'll pay your tribute to her as a good son that you are.
No, yes, yes. I'm off Sunday, so we're gonna do something.
What's one of the best gifts that you can get a mother?
I mean, I think I'm enough, right?
Uh,
Don't you
that's what
think
I
you're
that's what I
like,
always say.
hey,
So like what are a gift you could get you're supposed to get your wife for Mother's Day?
your wife, whatever she wants.
There you go. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
just don't
is that
don't
just
go off
open-ended?
script.
Is that just an open-ended shopping trip, or is it
Don't go off script. If she says she wants, if she you take her shopping, if she says she wants something, plastic on counter, boom,
there you go.
done.
Sound advice from the ruler of the airway. Hey, also last thing, Spirit Airlines is no more, and
Yeah,
some of the social media
Flying
posts.
Waffle House has left the building. Thank you, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, how did that work? Did she just fight? Did she just end?
Fight the merger between them and what, JetBlue?
Okay, so she must have had a stake in that.
Probably.
That had
I
to have
mean,
been something she benefited from.
yeah, it didn't. As a proud Native American, she couldn't she couldn't see a monopoly, of
Did you
two of the
see,
worst airlines in existence merging to form one giant mega crap airline.
did you see the one? Did you see the one of her holding up? I think Babylon B did it. She did it
Yeah.
with like a Spirit Airlines scalp. So bad.
Do you see
Oh
the video of Trump appointing Marco Rubio to run Spirit Airlines?
God.
Also on the B in gold.
Yeah. And then the videos of all the fights going on with Spirit Airlines. And back in my time working with you, it was Allegiant. I don't think Spirit had come to Oklahoma City yet or anything. But
Spirit is not in Oklahoma City, or they were not.
if you saw a sleeveless T-shirt and some cut off jeans, heading down the
Well,
terminal, you knew they were catching an Allegiant flight.
we've got Frontier, and by all accounts, that is Hell's Airline. So, hey, we've got our own problems. The Dollar Tree airline.
Dollar Tree Airline. Yeah, I remember, and this was one of the things that even my wife, telling her the story, she'll recount. There was a young lady who worked for Frontier back when I was out there. Her name was Diamond, and she was really a way better employee than they deserved. But me and my partner Jesse, making our rounds, we saw her working the ticket counter. And I don't know if it's still this way, but remember Frontier would have like 2 flights a week, and like
Uh-huh.
100 people would show up all at once to get
Uh-huh.
checked in and fly for
Well,
80
now they
bucks.
have one every day, and that's still how it is.
Yeah. So she worked the ticket counter, got done there, went down to the gate, worked the gate, and then within 15 minutes, I see her down there pulling a tug
Yep,
on the tarmac.
that's exactly how they do it now too.
I was like, that girl, she should be making mega bucks for this idiot corporation that she's working for. And, it turned out she was just contract. But man, I was like, if I could start a business tomorrow, I would go find Diamond and hire her.
They they get their money's worth out of their employees, and
Yeah.
it's to say the least, it's an irresponsible business model.
Well, and they're all going to go under now because with the Strait of Hormuz, apparently gas prices will be too much for the airline companies to offer flights.
Fantastic.
All right, let's get out on a positive note. It is Mother's Day weekend, so be sure. And if you still have your mother with you, let her know how much she means to you. She gave birth to you. And then also, if you're married or in a relationship, whatever the case, and that person is a mother or future mother, be sure and let them know how you feel about motherhood. Is one of the most difficult jobs on the planet, but so many people do it without all of the recognition. Now, I'll just say this: I do carry a little bit of envy because it seems like for my entire life, athletics, anything, hi mom,
Hmm.
that dads can take a bit of rear seat, but that's what we're geared for. So
Don't even bother taking Father's Day off. It's like, why?
all right, well, let's start making our way out of here. He's Jeremy Schroeder, ruler of the airways, and that includes the former airlines that didn't come to Oklahoma City, but I'm sure they were looking at it, but plenty of other terrible airlines where that one came from. And then also myself, Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. I'm going to be in Weatherford tonight, calling playoff soccer for the Weatherford Lady Eagles as they'll take on the Catoosa Indians. 6:45 pregame there on Weatherford Eagles TV at right.media. And a lot of fun there as the Lady Eagles making quite the playoff run so far and looking for a state title. And then also Luke Clement and I did an episode Wednesday of Western Oklahoma Sports Night, recapping the spring sports for Western Oklahoma teams. Still keeping my toe in the pool out in Western Oklahoma for sports and staying with the Weatherford Eagles as well. And Jeremy, I sprung an old man joke on Luke Clement the other night.
And what
We're
was
talking
the
about concerts because he's excited to go see ZZ Top and Dwight Yoakam at Lucky Star tomorrow night. And Marty mentioned how he had seen Def Leppard in Vegas. And the first thing came out of my lips, hey, Marty, what has 9 arms and sucks? So Luke, being in his early 20s, did not see how the joke was relevant. And so I had to take time to explain to him that just made me feel that much older.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your ordeal.
It was okay. It was fun. Check it out on our YouTube channel. And please subscribe to YouTube at Law Dog Sports. We'll talk to you next week. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And this has been the Weekend Big Show.